Good morning. My name is Yang Haifeng, CTO from DBSEC. I would like to talk about the security governance of data and some of our products. And first of all, about DBSEC. DBSEC has been growing for the last 9 years and focusing on the data security. And whether currently and in the future we are going to focus only on data security. And in the cloud, we are an independent cloud data security service provider. And our mission is to protect the security and the free and secure use of the data in the cloud. And within this background, and I like to review the trends, especially in the directives and the regulations concerning the data security in the past year. For instance, there is the network security law was enacted in June the 1st, 2017. And also other directives concerning the network security, and it has embraced a new or upgraded version of network security, including the big data, the white book of the big data security standards. And the DBSEC, after 9 years of development, we have come to realize and also come to these problems, and we are thinking about how can we meet with the compliance requirements with the lowest cost, and so as to provide a service to our clients to protect their data, especially in the cloud, and how can governments and industries can share in a secured way and exchange their data. Today, when I want to talk about the data security governance, I have been thinking before coming to this conference that it is quite difficult for us to make it very clear. But I need to use a very concrete example, such as the automobile industry. We can compare the data from the automobile with what we call the critical sensitive data. For data, we need to categorize into different classes, so we can exercise graded management of those categories. It's the same with our critical and sensitive data. And after ratings and sifting through all those data and categorize all those data, we need to encrypt. We need to provide a basic defense and protection measures of those critical and sensitive data. And it's the same with the automobile industry. And for instance, we have installed some traffic cameras, and we also installed the traveling or the driving recording devices inside the car. And the same with the data. The operation of those critical and sensitive data should be monitored, recorded, and should be given the pre-warning if risks arise. And for the automobiles, we need to install those anti-bullet glasses as well as anti-theft locks. And for those critical and sensitive data, we need to define the use and the sharing of critical sensitive data's security boundaries so as against the hackers' attack, as well as internal leak and security sharing. And finally, for automobiles, we also have the license plates and the serial number of the engines. The critical information and technology should also have its numbers, its special numbers, such as water prints, so that those data leaks can be retraced and held accountable. So this whole process is called the normal or the ordinary path of data security. It's very, very, very easy. For important things, we have to repeat this adjective of very. And when we say this cloud data security is an ordinary path, but it also have lots of twists and turns, and it's quite complicated job. For instance, our DBSEC provides a whole complete of product lines, including those 8 product categories. And the first is DB carding, and the second is data auditing, and the data security operation, and the maintenance, and the database firewalls on the left side. And all these 8 categories of data, they support our whole data security theory or data security concept. In 2017, we became one of the representative companies in Gartner's and also in encryption, we also become one of the 2017 Gartner's list of enterprise-wide critical data encryption. And in the cloud, we have also been able to work together with Ali Cloud to consolidate our strengths with that of Ali's, so as to provide security of data in the cloud. If you are interested in this area, we can, in this afternoon session, we are going to talk more in details about this security and the partnership with Ali Cloud. And for the data DB carding, and I would like to say something more about our products in the 8 categories. First is about how to locate and identify those critical and sensitive data. How can we do this? And there should be some basis or foundations for the DB carding, for instance. And our basis or our criteria from, for instance, the personal information safety standards or the government data categorizing guidelines. And by these guidelines, we can specify what kinds of data can be defined as critical, what kinds of risks are there, and what are the source points of the database. And this is the static and the dynamic DB carding products. And how can we categorize and rate all those critical and sensitive data? And in dynamic safety, we provide a kind of data map, which demonstrates the status of all kinds of critical data. And this is a very good example of this DB carding product, whether it is a business department or the operation maintenance department or the security department. They don't have a very clear idea of what kinds of information are critical and sensitive. They have several hundreds of databases. After sifting through all those databases, we found there is this huge discrepancy, and altogether there are 4,000 databases, and they do not know how to what they are doing inside those databases. And 600 among them, 600 of them are we call the ghost database, and 900 of them are inactive ones. And all these databases, they contain lots of privacy or private information about enterprises and individuals. And after sifting through and categorizing all these databases, for our clients, they can target those critical and sensitive information according to different categories of databases. They can adopt different measures, for instance, to protect those critical information in the ghost databases. And the second is encryption. Encryption is usually targeted at those critical and sensitive information. Encryption is on demand, and this is the different layers of encryption. And in the database and also the application layer, there are different encryption measures for different layers, and also at the layer of the cloud. and the cloud visiting verification. We also have encryption. We emphasize the database encryption. There is no silver bullet. They are usually provided according to the demands of the clients. And the most critical thing is about the, it's called the SM1 or SM4. This is a national encryption algorithm. This is transparent, and it is highly efficient. And we think there is these are very critical encryption capabilities at all these levels. And DBSEC products they reflect a lot of transparency, and it's called the table space level TDE. And all these performance loss will be less than 7%. And for some of them, it is even lower than 2%. And this DBSEC products, it's called the column level TDE, is also is more suited to the different demands. It's used usually column based on columns. It is a transparent encryption and with fewer loss of performance. And the transparent encryption products, they try to the objectives is to be secure and compliance with regulations and directives, and especially in compliance with the classified protection requirements in the network security laws. And these are the applications and the cases of the security protection in the cloud. And the first one is a very famous foreign invested education organization, and this organization migrate its data from a foreign cloud to a domestic cloud, and some of the foreign cloud, the data cloud need to be encrypted in this process of migration to the domestic cloud. And the second case is about the chemical industry manufacturing, the encryption of the manufacturing industry. And the third is the third-party delivery, which has a huge demand for encryption as well. The third product is about monitoring. And monitoring, we need to access the monitoring, pre-warning, and auditing of those critical information. And DB auditing products, and with we can analyze the behaviors of all the databases, and we can transfer all those data information to the cloud. And they can visit those clouds, and they can exercise auditing and monitoring of those all those data. In auditing, we have several dozens of successful studies in different sectors, including finance, healthcare, education, and e-commerce. And these are the whole the core value of the auditing products. It builds pre-auditing and mid-auditing as and after auditing, and this is the product for protection and prevention. We define the security boundaries and try to provide better protection and prevention. We set up firewalls, and this is integrated firewalls, and you know, at the databases have lots of loopholes, and they could be utilized by hackers. And we use the virtual patches to amend those leaks and loopholes. And you don't need to have constant upgrades against those hackers. You just need to download those virtual patches.
And also in the deployment of the firewall, they actually can serve as a last defense line about the security, and this is the core and also a very typical example, especially in the healthcare. It is become a more and more standardized configuration to protect the security of the data. And also, as for the security operation, and this is about the dual core operation and verification, and also it can provide a very detailed operation report. There are the double elements verification, and also it can provide a finer granularity visiting control, so that we can see there are a lot of new advantages, so that every operation can be controlled. And next one is about the masking of those sensitive informations. And normally, those data, they are run normally and successfully, and that is also open to our development environment, but also the data have to generate it to the third party, and there is a requirement of a very safe environment, so that the data should be masked to make those sensitive information more secure. And also, those masked data should be inconsistent with this developing environment, so that our test can be run successfully. And then the operation environment is secure and sound. And also, we have to make sure that the data, or especially the sensitive data, especially for the names and ID cards and bank cards number accounts, will be secured. That is more like a static masking data, and also there are some dynamic masking data. For example, some API and some interface. Those data should be shared with the third party, just like the government, and the data would be exchanged a lot among different departments. So through those dynamic masking, we can share those data with those educational department or social security. So the ID card should not be delivered in the full set. So according to different strategies and also according to different purpose, those data would be gained in a dynamic masking way, just like the ETL and the data inquiry service and data synchronizing service. And the last part is about the retracing origin. This is about the watermark to trace or track the data's direction, and also we can track the responsible holder. And this is a brief introduction of the Watermark product. It actually is a local embedded original data, so that the distribution and the sharing of the data all can satisfy the security purpose. And this is the typical data distribution scenario without the watermark. We can see the data was delivered to different departments in different government. And for example, if the unit B leaking information, actually previously we don't know which part leaks the information, and we have to spend a lot of time and money to track that, and we don't know how much information was leaked. But actually, if with the watermark in the distribution of those data, and also as well as in the synchronizing of the data, we can know whether it is A or it is B. And after the leakage of the information, we can track those watermark, so that we can put those information in the models, and using some preset watermark to see whether A or B is leaking. So we can effectively tracking the responsibility of the leakage, and also we also can know the area of the region where those information are leaking into. And then this is about our product of data Watermark. This is a whole process, and this is a typical process, and also tracking system. So actually, when we add a watermarker, we cannot influence the normal operation or use of those data. So there are some transparent operation. And also, as for the error correction, we have to make sure the accuracy of those error correction. And just now I have mentioned some of our core products. And the last part, I'd like to say a few words about our experience or the implementations about the cloud security. According to the Internet Security Law, the clause 21, the item number 3, that is, we have to keep the log of internet diaries no less than 6 months. And also we have to categorize different data, and also we have to make copy or backup for the data, and also we have to make them encrypted. There are 2 types of capabilities of our product. The first part is about our product. Our product is majorly targeting small and medium-sized users, and also is delivered in the aspect of mirror image. It is very simple, it is very light, and also it is with low threshold. And also, as for the cloud security governance platform, it is for the large-scale cloud users and the private users and the SaaS models. We can provide the data secure service in a professional way. And also, as for the clients of the clients, it is a customer service based on SaaS platform. And finally, today I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce, and also as mentioned by the previous speaker, that as for the cloud product, it should have a low threshold, and we call that a more user-friendly. So we hope our product is also very user-friendly. We face up to the small and medium-sized users. We have a very high level of security, but we have a very low threshold level. And also we have been compatible with 8 cloud environment to make sure that data security is everywhere. And that is my presentation. Thank you very much.